It's the Amanda Seales Show, everybody. I'm Amanda Seales. It is time for Supreme Court Injustice.
Oh, man. I think you're talking about me every time you say that. I'm like, what I do that? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, but this is no laughing matter. The Supreme Court has ruled 6-3. So every day I'm basically running down a recent Supreme Court ruling that you may have not known about, but that you need to know about. The Supreme Court has ruled 6-3 to restrict the use of federal obstruction law in cases related to the January 6th Capitol riot and other incidents. Let's explain. The decision requires proof that the defendants attempted to tamper with or destroy documents, narrowing the application of the obstruction charge. So basically what they're saying is that them storming the Capitol, that's not an example of obstruction.
Wow.
It needs to be like the people who like took Nancy Pelosi's laptop, people who were like basically trying to actually take documents. So they're trying to free around 1,000 Capitol riot related defendants who have not been charged with obstruction and will not be affected by this ruling.
Wow.
The ruling may impact sentencing, plea withdrawals, or drop charges for the approximately 350 defendants who have been charged with obstruction. Now, I don't know about you, but what kind of Supreme Court do we have where they're trying to not hold the people who stormed the Capitol accountable?
Yeah, this is a different one because I've never seen a court enforce chaos or trying to pretty much overthrow them, because that's what would have happened if they had got in there and were able to do what they wanted to do. It could have been the whole destruction of all three branches of government.
All three. And so just want to remind you guys, we've got the legislative branch, we've got the judicial branch, got the executive branch. Executive is the president, judicial is the Supreme Court, legislative is Congress. There's supposed to be checks and balances amongst all three of them. There are not.
None.
There are not, because there's another story that we're going to talk about later this week where the Supreme Court, they made a case, a ruling where they can take bribes. Yeah. What kind of checks and balances are there where they can make rulings about how they function?
Yeah.
So let me tell you about this other thing that they just did. They ruled 6-3. Now, when we say ruled 6-3, it means there's 9 people on the court. 6 of them ruled in favor, 3 dissented. The 3 that dissented are always the same 3: Sotomayor, Kagan, and Ketanji Jackson, because they are the 3 they're considered the left-leaning judges. Now, of course, there will sometimes be the odd man out, but the 6 that are in place for the right wing, they definitely be riding together.
Okay.
So the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled 6-3 that cities can enforce bans on sleeping and camping in public places, overturning previous decisions that considered such laws cruel and unusual punishment under the 8th Amendment. Justice Gorsuch, writing for the majority, emphasized that homelessness policy is a matter for local governments, not federal judges, stating that the Constitution does not empower judges to dictate such policies. Now, my confusion around this is that homelessness is related to citizens of this country. Yes. So to me, I am confused as to why constitutional law would not apply to the protection of individuals of this country as citizens, even in their homelessness.
That's a great question. That is a great question.
I'm confused. Like, I understand that there should be a matter for local governments as it relates to how they want to handle encampments. But I think it feels nonsensical to me that there wouldn't be something on a federal level that accounts for how we deal with individuals who are being charged with, whatever they're going to come up with for homelessness. Because, when we had the post-antebellum South come into play, that's when we learned about trespassing and vagrancy laws, because they created those laws to create opportunities for Black people to be imprisoned to continue slavery.
Yes.
Right. So they created vagrancy laws. They created trespassing laws, basically saying that Black people who were still on the plantations that they were now freed from working were no longer allowed to stay there or live there, or else they would be breaking the law.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they had nowhere else to go.
At
So
all.
the moving goalpost is always happening. And the decision is a victory for cities like quote unquote Grant Pass, Oregon, which argued that restrictions on homeless encampments are necessary for public safety and to maintain open public spaces. I also argue that this is an effort to also try to suppress peaceful protest, as we saw police being released onto the encampments at colleges. And, we also saw Occupy Wall Street. We've seen the hippies. Like, encampments has been a useful effort of peaceful protest for quite some time. It wasn't right for them to be attacked in the recent months, and now they're basically saying that they're going to put it in the hands of states to make it criminal if they want to.
2 for 1.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, Atlanta's city mayor said that he's not going to make encampments illegal, but we'll see what happens. I talk more about this on my Instagram, so make sure you check it out. Always trying to just keep you guys informed and really break down the stuff that they make it sound so complex down to the nitty gritty, so y'all can really understand what's going on, because it's going to affect all of us. Keep it locked right here and share your thoughts with me. 1-855-AMANDA-8. It's the Amanda Seales Show. We are